And I thought, what can I do with this at 55 years old? I thought about my client that was an arm wrestler, and I thought, well, I could arm wrestle. We need to be fast and have the technique, and you have to be prepared if you're fast and your opponent stops you. Well, so like bodybuilders, for example. And so when they come to arm wrestle, they get hurt. Benching does not help with arm wrestling. So I focus on arm wrestling workouts rather than bodybuilding workouts. I'd say that's the sweet spot. It's 3 years.
So if some little guy says he wants to arm wrestle me and he's been arm wrestling for 3 years, I just kind of...
He's going to dump you.
Yeah, he's going to dump me. Dave Wilson, this is pretty exciting. I have to honestly say, I have never arm wrestled on a official arm wrestling table, but we're going to find out more about arm wrestling. And so we have come down to Utah's official arm wrestling facility. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I'm sure I slaughtered that.
No, you're fine. Well, this is Utah Arm Wrestling where we practice. There are actually 9 different practices, organized practices in Utah.
Really?
Going from all the way down south in St. George, all the way up to Cache Valley.
Where would you say is the best attended?
That's a tough question. We just changed our schedule. So we used to be. We actually used to have our practice at Bob's Barn.
Right.
And Bob's Barn is where John Brzenk, the goat of arm wrestling, trained for 20 years with Bob Brown, who owns Bob's
Barn.
And but Bob goes down south for the winter. So we don't practice in his barn, we practice here.
Okay.
And we've actually moved here. We started during the summer. We moved here.
Right.
So this one used to be the biggest practice, and they started a practice in Lehigh, and he gets pretty good attendance. He's on Monday nights, and we're on Thursday nights. Now, this is our second Thursday night practice.
Okay.
We were Saturdays at 1, and people were having trouble coming on Saturdays. So we accommodated them, said, okay, let's go back to Thursday nights like we used to do.
Right. But even though this is Utah, you're part of the larger East-West organization, correct?
Well, no, we're not.
No.
East versus West, they're their own thing, but Robert Baxter does come here on occasion to practice with us. In fact, we have his arm wrestling table is the one that's over there.
Does
he
live
bring
here?
over here? It's his actual table.
And he only uses his table?
Well, no, he'll use the other tables too, but he leaves it here with us. And of course, we know Robert from well before he owned East versus West.
Right. So how long have you been involved in arm wrestling?
Me personally, I started when I was 55 years old in 2018. And just started because I had a client that was an arm wrestler in early 2000s. And at 55, I started getting stronger. And it's amazing how I started getting bulkier and bigger. And I got up to 265 pounds. I was repping 365 on the bench, that type of thing. And I thought, what can I do with this at 55 years old? Why am I doing this? And I thought about my client that was an arm wrestler, and I thought, well, I could arm wrestle. And I went to a tournament up in Ogden, and I met Bob Brown there, and I had no idea he was an arm wrestler. Bob Brown does not look like an arm wrestler. Of course, he's famous, and arm wrestlers know who he is and what he looks like, and yes, they'll say he does. But at that time, I had no idea who he was.
Right.
Just an old guy with glasses, smaller guy. He's 185-pound guy.
Right.
And he has one leg, by the way.
Really?
As well. So I just thought he was somebody's dad or something.
Right.
Me being older, I walked up to him and just started talking to him, and he just ended up saying, hey, why don't you come by my place on Thursday, and, we'll see what you got. And I showed up Thursday, and nowadays I train with him every day in the morning when he's up here.
No way.
And he's my training partner.
Okay.
That's kind of how things got going.
Now, you're getting a lot more coverage on social media because for some reason, all of the well-known strongmen have decided that they're going to come over and start arm wrestling.
Yes.
Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall.
Yep. Brandon Allen.
I don't know that the mountain has done it yet, has
he? His arm wrestled Devin Larratt,
he did?
but
he didn't.
Just kind of fooling around.
Just filling around.
Yeah.
Was it more for a photo shoot?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. So when I was younger, I was telling you earlier, I have larger than normal arms, and it's just genetics. And so, of course, everybody expects me to be able to arm wrestle. And probably the only reason I was good was because everybody wanted to arm wrestle me. But clearly, especially as I watched Devin's training, it's not normal arm training.
No.
That makes you good at it. And you were saying you got to be fast.
Yes.
And then what else do you need to have?
You need to be fast and have the technique.
Right.
And you have to be prepared if you're fast and your opponent stops you. You need to be able to figure out how to finish the job. And there's a lot of techniques involved. There's a hook, top roll, different techniques. And there's a lot of things in between. And every little centimeter means something.
Sounds more like chess than...
It kind of is.
Yeah.
You do have to outthink your opponent.
Do you find that, like in boxing or a lot of fighting sports, even though they will learn other fighting styles or other techniques, they have a favored technique? Is that similar to the athletes in arm wrestling?
Yeah, there's some guys you refer to as hookers, and some guys you refer to as top rollers. And then you have some that are good at both. But most will choose whatever they have the most success with to focus on.
Is there anybody that throws off that norm? I mean, like, if their opponent knows that they're a hooker, will they deliberately not go that route? Or you would know right when you connect if they're going to be a hooker or not?
You know when you hold your opponent's hand, how they grip you, what they're going to do.
Right.
And that's something you develop over time. Because originally, when you first start out, you don't think anything about the grip. You're just thinking, what am I going to do? And what's he going to do? And you usually react too late, and the other guy pins you before you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But the better guys, like the Bob Browns and John Brzezinks and Devin Larratt's, as soon as they grip up with their opponent, they know where they're going to go. And they get in either a defensive or offensive position to counter that.
Now, I didn't realize until just recently how tall Devin was.
Yes.
He looks proportional, and then he's like 6'7", isn't he?
No,
6'5"?
I would say probably 6'5".
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that's and the weird thing is, when I watch him, I feel like he's below the table. Is that a common tactic? Like, if he's that tall, maybe he just always looks like he's below the table.
It depends what he's doing. Devin is one of those that has several different techniques, and he can be tall over the table. He'll be in any position he thinks he needs to be in,
right,
in order to win the match.
So how do you learn the techniques? Is it just through
practices like we have?
Right.
So we have all levels at practice. In arm wrestling, there are multiple levels.
Right.
And so we have new guys, that's their first time, and we teach them how to be safe originally.
Right.
And we may try to figure out what technique works best for them, what feels best for them at that time, and focus on that.
Right.
I mean, those are all things that we do. And we'll have anybody up to world champions show up at our practice.
Wow.
And those guys are here to help. They help counsel and teach, but they're also here to get a workout. So we generally have the stronger guy just holds the weaker guy or the more experienced or less experienced guy and let him work.
Okay.
And say, okay, that feels good. That feels stronger, that type of thing. And that way, the stronger guy is still getting a workout.
Would you say that the United States leads in arm wrestling, or what country would you say?
I'd say Georgia in
the old ball,
in
the
Europe,
old
whatever,
Russia.
Wherever they are. Yeah.
Yeah. I wondered. That's what I figured.
Yeah. I'd say Georgia's probably right now. I mean, the arm wrestlers that come out of Georgia are just amazing.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the old Soviet Union, and speaking of chess, I actually found a boxing chess. And I thought this is just a joke, but literally, and it's huge all over Russia. And so it's interesting
I
because
did see that recently. Yeah.
yeah, in the Cold War era, we're both Cold War era people. Russia was pretty feared when it came to anything physical.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they used a lot of drugs.
Yeah. Right.
But Levon is from Georgia, and he's number one in the world.
Right. I was going to say, I think Devin has deferred to him before. So I always thought Devin was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're totally different levels.
Yeah. Oh, really?
When we talk about levels, there's so many levels in the sport.
Right.
That even between those two is a huge jump, in my opinion.
So now these levels, would you say that it's like a martial art level, like a belt? Or
I don't think it'd be defined that way.
Oh, really?
You know, when you're an athlete and you're competing, you feel what level you can be at.
Right.
And so it's really you're really basing your level compared to other people. In the United States, we have a rating system, Aries rating system, and it's done exactly like the chess is done.
Right.
And so, yeah, it depends on how good your opponent is, like how much your score goes up if you win, or if you lose, how many points you lose when that happens. And so that we have over 3,000 athletes that participate in the Aries system.
So would that be just in competition, or does that Aries level change even in practice if you win in a practice?
Good question. So in practices, generally, you're not competing.
All right.
Some practices do have super matches, which are best out of 5. And it's local guys going at each other because different states, they rank their competitors or their athletes themselves. They have
By
their
the
own
state.
rank, and we do too.
So it would be a state ranking.
Yeah, exactly. In Utah, we have state rankings.
So it's Aries and Utah.
Yeah, they're separate.
Okay.
Totally done differently and everything else.
Right.
But in our ranking fights, the super matches, he will use that information and enter it into Aries, and it can count.
Huh.
But not everybody does that.
Right.
Some of them, they just have the super matches, and it goes towards the rankings, and they don't report it to Aries.
Right.
But Aries, the gentleman that runs Aries, Corey Miller, he's out of Wyoming. He wants as much data as possible to make it as accurate as possible.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, it's fairly new. It's been going on for a few years now, but everybody is starting to endorse it. And in fact, in Texas, when they do their tournaments in Texas, TAL, Texas Arm Wrestling League,
right?
The gentleman over there, Billy Artegas, he actually uses that system to set up the matches for the tournament.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. With chess, it's a worldwide game, and so you can play someone of equal ELO.
Exactly.
Whereas
that's the
with
right
Aries,
term too. Yes.
How it would be hard to always have an opponent who's within a certain range of your Aries or ELO.
That's what he uses. ELO is the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So they try to, like in Texas, they want every single match to be a fight. They don't want like the first round to be the best guy against the worst guy.
Yeah.
And so it makes it more exciting.
Yeah. But only Texas.
So far. That's the only one I know of that's doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the capability of doing that here. And I actually had him run my tournament that I had a week and a half ago. And we could have done it there, but the way things worked out, we did a different system altogether. We did triple elimination instead of double for our tournament.
If you don't mind, I want to back up just a minute. I've been thinking about what you said about the hooker and the roller, right? Before we get too far into this, what is the difference between a hooker and a roller? In my mind, you're rolling or you're hooking. How is it different?
So you have pronation and you have supination.
Right.
So pronation is a top roll.
Right. Nobody wants to supinate, right? Or that's a tactic.
No, supination is a hooker.
Oh.
So when you're top rolling,
right,
you're pronating,
right,
and you're going through your opponent's fingers. You're trying to open up their hand, and you're trying to turn their hand up towards the ceiling.
Right.
You do that, then everything's on their bicep, and you're going to be stronger than they are, and it's going to be easier to take them down. So like you go really for the fingertips,
Right.
if you can. If your opponent's 100 pounds heavier than you,
You're not going to get
you're
going
to go after their fingertips because you open up their hand, and now they can't use their strength.
Right.
You've disarmed them.
Yeah.
Bang. It makes it easy.
So a roller, their whole plan is to supinate the other opponent.
Well, it's to open up their hand.
Okay.
That's not really supination, but it's to open up their hand and disarm them, kind of like judo.
Right.
So, because obviously your opponent's stronger than you are.
Right.
So you want to take their strength away.
So you said when you first connect, you know whether they're going to be a hooker or a roller.
Depending on how they grip. If they're gripping high, that's generally a top roll grip.
They're trying to,
Okay.
They're using leverage.
And part of that is they want to go over your hand, they want to go through your fingers, but also if you have two top rollers against each other, generally you're going to end up in a strap.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
And the strap is when you slip apart, and then the referees will tie your hands together with a strap.
Right.
And then with that, nobody's getting out of that.
Have you ever worked as a referee? Like, are these licensed referees?
I don't like the referee.
You don't like the referee? Where do you get the referees?
There are people crazy enough to ref.
That's what they choose. They're like, I don't want to arm wrestle. I just want to ref.
Generally, they are awesome arm wrestlers as well. And they will compete in the tournament.
Really?
And have the other refs cover for them while they're competing. I found that most refs are really good arm wrestlers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you get to the hooking is supination, and that's more of a move where you go like this, and you're digging into your opponent's wrist.
Right.
And you're putting all the pressure really on their wrist, and you're hooking them.
So sometimes I'll see people going over the top. Would they be more rollers?
That's a top roller.
But then I'll see guys like this. They're looking to hook, or it's not necessarily.
That's a desperation move when they get like that.
Yeah,
they've already lost their wrist by the other
and so
person.
They're just trying
to hang in there. Yeah.
So I never thought about that. Like, do you have to work your fingers?
Yes,
you do. So you work on grip strength.
Grip strength is important, but it's not everything. I knew a guy that he was one of the best arm wrestlers in Japan. He was in the military, so he got transferred back here.
Right.
And the first practice he came to, he was like a 300-pounder.
Wow.
And he had a horseshoe with him, and he bent this horseshoe. We're like, wow, this guy's impressive.
Right.
So, and he was like 300 pounds.
Right.
So we had a guy that's 198 pounds, but he's tall.
But was his name Bob?
He's like, no.
Oh, okay.
He's like 6'3", I'd say. He's a little taller than I am.
Uh-huh.
Maybe 6'4". And he gripped up with him and just played with him. Just top rolled him. And the guy was trying to hook him. So his grip strength didn't help him.
Right. Would you say, and I don't know, maybe it's not this simple, but when I looked at a lot of the exercises that Devin was doing, it seemed like really it's more forearm than bicep. No? Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah, the brachialis is really what you want to work the most.
Uh-huh.
And your hand and wrist. All this from here up here is really, really important. And you've got to have that tendon strength here, or that will pop on you. You don't want
that's what I was
that
going to say. Do you do, I've kind of noticed that a lot of you have really long gaps between the bicep and that tendon. Mm-hmm. Is that from trying to strengthen the tendon, or that's just comes from?
I've had that for a long time.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was tendon work or not, but that accentuated it. But I've got the gap you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because Devin
he does as well.
Pretty massive gaps.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a result of tendon training, but we definitely train our tendons because that's very important. You've got to have that support there.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the smaller guys, they're super strong.
Yeah.
You don't see big muscles on these guys.
Right.
But their tendons
and
their ligaments are just so strong.
Yeah.
That they get that angle on you and you just can't get through it.
Growing up, all of my coaches tried to steer heavy lifts away from tendons and ligaments. And it seems like it put us at a disadvantage. Now that you got knees
For
over
arm
toes
wrestling, yes.
guy who's specifically putting the strain on the tendons to make them stronger.
Well, yeah. Well, so like bodybuilders, for example.
Yeah.
And you could even say, well, let's stick with bodybuilders. So when they do their lifts, a lot of them, they're balancing the bar right here.
Right.
Right. And some of them use straps when they're pulling things down and all that. Well, they're not giving their tendons any stress.
Right.
And so when they come to arm wrestle, they get hurt.
Yeah.
And a lot of them pop tendons, things like that, when they try to
Wow.
arm wrestle. But we do have bodybuilders that arm wrestle and that are very good.
Any that I would know?
Andrei Sharkovich. Have you ever heard of him?
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I know him.
Yeah, he's one of the best arm wrestlers in the 220-pound category.
So I
And
didn't
he's
think about
definitely a
that.
bodybuilder.
There's weight categories.
Yes,
Okay, so what is the range on a weight category for arm wrestling?
depends. Usually 20 pounds,
Okay, so 200s to 220s,
198 to 220.
198 to 220s.
So they'll do, like, the last tournament that I put on, we had 154, and then we had 176, 198, 220, 242, and then supers.
It's funny because I tell people I wrestled 154s and they think 154s, but
Yeah.
it was a category for wrestling.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you got wrestling, you got chess.
Now, on the world stage, they even go down to like 132, I believe.
Lightweights.
Yeah, there's some really light guys that aren't.
Do you think they have an advantage? Or do you think the bigger guys have more of an advantage?
If you watch arm wrestling, the smaller guys are super fast, super quick.
They'd have to have good
It's
technique.
a blur.
Yeah.
Us bigger guys,
Yeah, you're going to
I
be
mean,
slower.
it's going on before we even know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, it's already going. It's there. You know, whoa, what's going on here?
Right.
So it seems like the bigger arm wrestlers are slower than the smaller ones.
Yeah, they're just relying on
Speed.
grunt.
A lot of speed.
Oh, the bigger ones are relying
No,
on
the small
speed.
one. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the bigger ones. Yeah, they're going for, muscle to muscle.
Is there someone that you would consider the fastest? Like when you think fast.
Corey Miller.
Corey Miller.
Yeah,
And
he's known as the Flash.
He's known as the Flash.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say speed over strength or speed over technique?
Well, in his case, he's a full package. He's only 165 pounds, maybe,
Right.
and he beats 350-pound guys.
No way.
No problem.
Huh.
And and a lot of it's speed, but he has a strength as well.
Has the strength to back it
But
up.
if you do stop him, and you're
He-
stronger
he
than he
struggles.
is, you're going to get him.
Wow.
But it's hard to stop him because
Yeah.
you're already pinned before you even
Right.
know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
And that's what he's known for.
But you put the fear into him if you can stop him.
Yeah.
That's the goal when you're wrestling Corey Miller.
Corey Miller.
Okay.
That's the man. Yeah. That's what he's known for.
So you talked about how you got into it. And so
Mm-hmm.
this has roughly been 7 years that you've been in it.
Yeah.
What has that 7 years been like? What are the things that you've learned in the 7 years of arm wrestling that you would have never expected?
Well, I've learned a lot. In fact, my body changed.
Right?
I'm smaller now. I'm not 265 pounds. I'm not benching 365 pounds. Benching does not help with arm wrestling.
Right.
So I focus on arm wrestling workouts rather than bodybuilding workouts. My diet has changed. My outlook on everything has changed. My whole life has changed. because
So
of it.
diet, that kind of surprises me a little bit. How did your diet change?
Now I eat a lot healthier than I used to.
Okay.
I used to just eat whatever I wanted because I was trying to get bigger all the time.
Right.
And then this gentleman, Craig Toulier, he's one of the best 198 pounders in the U.S. I asked Craig and Bob, they were standing together, and I said, well, what do I need to do to be successful? These big guys are all beating me. Do I need to get bigger? And Craig turned to me and says, no, you need to get smaller. That's where you need to go.
Huh.
Really. And I've never been good with diets because I'm not going to sit there and count things. I'm not going to sit there with my phone and enter data in there and everything. I'm not good at that.
Right.
And he just laid out a diet plan for me that was very simple for me to follow. And I followed it. And boy, I lost 20 pounds in the first month.
Wow.
And then I got down to 205 pounds from 265.
Wow.
In just a matter of a couple of months. And I've kept the weight off ever since. Now I float between 215 and 220.
I've said this a couple times because I'm lucky enough to talk to the best of the best. And what really surprises me is how similar they are. It all goes back to the basics. These are completely different sports. They're completely different endeavors, and yet it's the same thing. The GOATs, the ones who have been at it for a long time, they focus on these little tiny things that you wouldn't even think would matter.
That's right. Yeah, even when it comes down to my workouts, I started working out with Bob Brown in the mornings. And the workouts we do are not traditional workouts. And it's every day.
Is it kind of like a fighting sport where the workouts are together, or is it strength training or?
Strength training and arm wrestling specific strengths.
Okay.
So we're not throwing around barbells and we're not bench pressing. We're not doing curls.
Right.
We're focusing on what's important to arm wrestling, which is wrist, hand, your forearm, elbows, all that kind of stuff.
Now, earlier you mentioned that a lot of guys in arm wrestling tend to work with their hands. What professions work best as an arm wrestler?
Well, there's a guy, Jordan Sill from Layton, Utah, and he's got humongous arms. This guy is talented, built for arm wrestling, does concrete. So that's where he gets his strength from. From I don't even know if he works out with weights. I think he just works hard.
Working, yeah.
There was another guy put up a video on Facebook today, as a matter of fact, showing what he does. And he works, he's shoveling dirt and digging holes and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. A
lot of them are carpenters, mechanics.
Yeah.
We have a guy that comes to our practice. You'd never think he was strong, or he's probably 5 feet tall.
Right.
Maybe a little bit taller than that. A small guy, 160-pound guy, and he can beat everybody here. And he's a mechanic and just super strong.
As soon as you said that, I think about wrench benders.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these guys are just amazing what they do for work. And so some of them don't even work out with weights.
Yeah.
And they're just super strong.
So I kind of ask everybody, what are your goals? You've been doing this long enough. I'm sure that you are looking forward to the future. What are your goals?
My personal goal is to win the world championship. And I want to do that actually next year in Tokyo. I went to Greece last year and I got 4th place.
In the world?
In Worlds, and that's in the senior grandmaster category. So that's 60 to 69 years old.
I like the sound of grandmaster.
Yeah, I know. They try to be nice to us old guys. They could say, senior fossils or something, but it's polite. So I'll still be in that same age category for next year. And so I'm training for that. And that's with my left arm.
Now, you can pick which arm that you compete with?
You can do both.
Okay.
My right arm is kind of coming back. I had some nerve damage. I'm still recovering from that, so it's just not performing. And who knows? Maybe it'll heal in time for that. But my left has been very successful lately. And I went down to Chile, and they set me up with a bodybuilder down there for a super match, a 27-year-old guy. And I won that 3-2. And that was with my left. And it seems like whenever I'm put in that situation with my left, it comes through and performs for me.
So what would you say, like there's right and left competitors. What percentage are right? What percentage are left? Is there one that's lopsided or
Yeah, most
favored?
of the guys are right, I think.
Most of them are right?
Yeah, but there are people like me that specialize in left as well.
Huh.
And yeah, most I would say, like Bob Brown, for example, when we're training, and I train both arms.
Right.
He likes to only train right.
Okay.
So whenever it's his turn for left, I'm like, and he's walking away, I say, get back here. You're doing, and he's like,
Right.
left.
Yeah.
I don't want to do left. But and his right arm is bigger than his left. You can visually see that it's bigger.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I think in the olden days it did seem like there was a dominance on the right, but it doesn't seem like the competitors nowadays have gross differences between right and left.
Yeah. Well, Devin, for example, for a period of time, he was world champion right and left at the same time.
So do you have a different ELO for each?
Yes. Different ratings for right and left. Yes. And for weight class, all the above.
Wow.
They have it broken down. Yeah, we have an app that we can look at and see where we're rated. And
how often does that change? You said the guy who runs it is in
constantly, along with whenever tournaments.
So even if you're not competing, your ELO could change because the competitors are changing.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not certain
in
how
chess,
that would
that's
work.
not the case.
Yeah.
One person can advance without necessarily affecting you negatively. So
yeah, I don't think it would. I don't know enough about the workings of it.
Right.
But what the other part of that is that Corey has developed software that we're all starting to use, which integrates with his Aries system.
So you can update.
So what we
events.
do is when we finish a tournament, we can email that file to him, and he instantly updates the Aries system.
Huh. That's cool.
And so he's been doing that. And yeah, it's been a pretty neat thing to see.
To be honest, the sport is not on ESPN that often. And so there's probably some misconceptions about what it is and what it isn't. What would you say are the most common misconceptions about arm wrestling?
I think a lot of what goes on is people, when they think of arm wrestling, it's in a bar and like Over the Top,
Right.
that movie,
Right.
right? And kind of, everybody's all wrestling, bustling, and drinking beer. And yeah, there is a lot of that goes on.
Right.
Truthfully, there is. But the arm wrestling community has been steering more towards it's a sport.
Right.
And treating it as such. And we're getting better at the tournaments and just a better image all around. And we are getting really true athletes coming up. As arm wrestling is getting better known,
Right.
we're attracting better athletes. And we're always looking for people to come in and join in our community.
So that's another great question. If somebody wanted to get involved in arm wrestling, how would they go about doing that?
There is a Utah Arm Wrestling Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
And if they reach out through that, I know pretty much I can connect them in any state they're in. I can connect them with a practice.
Through the Utah Arm Wrestling page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And between myself and Bob Brown and a couple other people, Robert Baxter, we know where we can send them, where they can get started at a practice, no matter where they are in the United States.
So the nitty gritty, this is probably also something that they want to know that they won't ask, right? You said the culture is becoming more professional. What can they expect? If they go to an arm wrestling gym, are they going to be looked down on as the new guy? Are they going to be welcomed in because it's new blood?
Oh, no, we welcome everybody.
Okay.
They'll be supported. We teach them how to be safe in this environment.
Okay.
That's number one. And then we teach them, and we try, some of the guys, they get a little excited, and it'll be like a fire hydrant of information. And people think arm wrestling is just, like Bob's favorite thing when I'm in a tournament and I see this guy, intimidating guy, and I'm like, Bob, what should I do? He says, well, you go like this and like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, everybody thinks it's that simple.
Right.
It actually isn't. So we try to start with the new guys and just encourage them. We warn them about the pain they're going to experience. with arm wrestling because it is tension on your tendons and
Right.
ligaments that you haven't felt before. It's like a toothache pain when you first start.
And how long does that last?
Only for the first year.
Only for the first year. So, in a lot of other sports, the supplements can block the lactic acid. Does that help or no?
It's not the lactic acid that gets you.
It's just straight
in
up
my opinion.
tendon strengthening and muscle.
Yeah, it does in a tournament, the lactic acid definitely is a factor. And that's why you see the guys put their arms up and they're kind of trying to get
Milking
the
it
blood and
down.
everything down.
Right.
But in a practice environment, it's just your tendons and everything getting used to that stress
Yeah.
is where that pain is coming from. And so it just takes the day after, you just want to do like high reps, a lot of reps and low weight.
Right.
And just get blood flow going through there. And that's the best thing you can do. Because then it's weird. So the day after practice, you're not going to hurt. The next day is when it hits you.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, oh!
Right. So is there such a thing in the arm wrestling world as New Year's resolutioners? Like what percentage come back after day 3?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Again, referring back to Bob, he has a habit of when he sees a new guy come in, and the new guy says, "Hey, I'll see you next week." He's like, "Yeah, right. We won't see you again."
Right.
He loves to say that.
Right.
And
Is he-
9 times out of 10, he's right.
I was going to say, is he surprised when they come back?
He is surprised. And if you're willing to come back and work with us, we'll work with you.
So mental note, put up with the pain, but go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually the pain,
That's life.
you'll get past the pain,
Yep.
just like with anything else.
Yep.
But like with muscles, you get over it faster.
Right.
With tendons and things, it takes some time.
Right.
And you want to be careful that first year. There's certain moves that we won't even let you do your first year.
So now you say the first year, the second year, you don't have the pain?
You don't feel it as much. You still get it,
Right.
depending on how hard you go
Uh-huh.
at practice, but it's not as severe. It's not like that toothache pain where it's so much pain, you're putting ice on your
Yeah.
arms and different things. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So, but yeah, it's a sport that, yeah, like you said, a lot of people, they do have a hard time coming back in the beginning because of the pain.
Right.
And they may come only once every other week or something like that.
Right. Till they get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because generally people will practice one day a week, but some do 2 a week, which I used to do, but I'm down to one day a week this time.
I don't like pain, but I don't know why. That's what made me excited. Very weird.
Yeah, I think that's why we don't have as many people in our sport as other sports,
Yeah.
because that pain does persist.
Right.
But if you work through it and you brave through it, and generally it does take about a year,
Yeah.
and you really don't start figuring out your real skills and moves for
Until
the
you
first
get
3
past it.
years.
Oh, really? 3 years.
I'd say that's the sweet spot, is 3 years.
So how long would you say it takes to get technique down? Is that pretty quick and then you're just polishing it up?
No,
or-
it takes repetition, practice. You need to practice every week and work at it. You know, just like Bob and I, it's every morning
Yeah.
we're working out. And it's consistency that does it.
So if some little guy says he wants to arm wrestle me and he's been arm wrestling for 3 years, I just kind of...
He's going to dump you.
Yeah, he's going to dump me. Yeah, that makes sense. Very cool.
Yeah, and it is, and because it does take a while to get good at it, there are people that will drop out for that reason, just because their ego can't take losing
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why in practice, ego gets checked at the door.
Yeah.
We're here to learn technique and get stronger and get those tendons going, get those fired up.
It's harder than it looks, especially what I've noticed in strongman. Kevin Ferris is one of our athletes, and he's not that big, especially when you look at like
Right.
Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall and those
Thor,
giants. Yeah. And I think it demoralizes the genetic freaks because they've always been the biggest in the room. They've always been the strongest in the room.
Yeah.
And then this little guy, I mean, Kevin's shoulders are like this, but
Right.
comes in and smokes you, and they can't handle it.
Yeah, and that happened to me the very first time I showed up at Bob's barn. There was a gentleman there, 198 pounds, but he was like 6'5",
Right.
so really thin.
Right.
And we gripped up, and I was 265 pounds,
Right.
feeling strong. I thought I was just going to show my stuff.
Right.
And went in there, and he just played with me. And it was, I got so frustrated.
Right.
Like, how is this happening? How is he able to do this stuff? I can't do anything here. But what it did was it challenged me.
Right.
Because I thought, okay, I need to learn what he knows.
Yeah.
I need to get good at this, because that was embarrassing. And I came from the East Coast, and I used to arm wrestle in the bars and get beer, free beer and all that stuff from
Right.
arm wrestling. I never lost
Right.
a match. And then to this, where the guy just played with me.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, there's a lot more to this.
Yeah.
I need to get good at this. And luckily they said, yeah, come back.
Yeah.
And, the rest is history. But
that's another interesting thing. No matter what sport or what profession, expertise, there's always something where the ego has to be checked at some point, and
Yes.
if it's not, they're done. Their progression is done. The humility has to be there.
Yeah, we had a guy, he didn't want to do a tournament until he could beat everybody in practice. I said, well, you're never going to do a tournament then.
Yeah.
You're never going to beat all these guys in practice.
Going back to chess, it's interesting. I was listening to a grandmaster talking the other day, and he said, you're not going to progress in chess until you no longer want to win. It's more you don't want to lose.
Right.
It's not a matter of wanting to win. It's a matter of not wanting to lose. Because a lot of times people early on will blunder. Everybody blunders, and they'll lose a key piece, and they go, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, I give up.
Yeah. I'll just do the next round. But he said the really good players, they don't want to win. They just don't want to lose. And that's what drives them.
Well, in arm wrestling, we have a desperation move called the King's Move.
Right.
And the King's Move, and I have to bring this up, you can't talk about arm wrestling without not bringing up the King's Move.
Okay, here we go.
So, I've already told you about top roll, hook, and then there's the King's Move.
Okay.
That's a desperation move, in my opinion. And some tournaments don't even allow it. And some people, they have broken their arm so many times or damaged their arm so many times
That they're locked up.
Yeah, can't go straight.
Yeah.
So they're like this.
Yeah.
So
Ben Hatfield.
they'll be like, go down like this. And their arm doesn't bend anymore. Then.
Right.
And that's called a King's Move when they're down like this. And they've developed rules around it.
Yeah.
Where, you can't go like below the table like this.
I've noticed that.
Position.
Yeah.
They'll call them on that. They'll say,
it.
get up, get up, get up.
Yep.
Call a foul. But yeah, is a King's Move or desperation move, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be the secret weapon.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it.
But you made me think of that when you're talking about that you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Because like Devin, for example, has developed the King's Move.
Oh, really?
For that purpose. And he says that.
Yeah.
I do this move, so I don't want to lose.
Right.
So I go down.
Yeah.
And it works for him. He has a good King's Move.
That's awesome.
Bob Brown is known for his, but it's because his arm doesn't go straight.
Do you have a King's Move?
No.
Because everything keeps
I
moving.
don't.
Yeah.
Monster Michael Todd is famous for the King's Move.
Huh.
Then you have George up in Canada. And he's actually, I guess, the pioneer of the King's Move. He's in his 70s, I think. And he's still going strong. And he's got that lock.
That's so fascinating. I would have never, if you would have told me there was a sport closest to arm wrestling, I would have never said chess. Chess would not have been.
Yeah.
But that's
a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Dave, I appreciate it. I really thank you for coming on and talking about this.
You're welcome.
I love finding out experts, their techniques, and the things that they do to become experts. And it's almost always the little things.
Well, I appreciate your interest in the sport, and we always try to get the word out about our sport. YouTube has done wonders for us. as a matter of fact. I've got the channel Utah Arm Wrestling, and it's just grown phenomenally from that.
Yeah, I think that's where I've seen the most is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we're encouraging, we'll help anyone enter the sport, entry level. And of course, we'll help them get to that world stage.
Are there any events coming up that if people wanted to come check it out?
We just had our biggest event in Utah I don't know if it's our biggest, but it's been around a pretty long time. The John Brzezinski Cup a week and a half ago. And then March 7th, we have the Utah State Tournament, and that's a big one. That may be the biggest one.
March 7th.
In Utah.
And they can find out more about that on your Facebook page?
Yes, I post all the upcoming tournaments on my Facebook, page and try to keep everybody informed, arm wrestlers and anybody else that's interested.
Great. Mm-hmm. Well, we hope to see you out there if you come check him out.
Don't worry.
Thanks, Dave.
I'm out there.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.